Salut Denzel, and welcome to this midweek's lesson. Well, today we're going to continue still on the lesson of alphabets, but this time around it's going to be slightly different. Different in what way? Different in that we are going to now see how the pronunciation of some of these alphabets actually change in words. In the last lesson, we practiced the pronunciation of alphabets individually as one letter. Right now, we're going to see that some of them actually maintain those same sounds as pronounced in one single letter, and others obviously change completely their pronunciations to something else. And most of them, which change their pronunciations, you're going to realize maintain the sounds just like in English. Okay, let's get right away into it. Let's start with the first letter, and we said A is pronounced A. And in the word we have here, we have the word l'avion. Can you repeat? L'avion. Good. So in l'avion, you can clearly get the R sound and there is no change there. Let's move on to the next word. The next letter, of course, is B, as you know. Now, B is pronounced B, as we know in English, such as in the word la ballerine. Again, la ballerine. Very good. So that is how B is pronounced differently when it is in a word. In a word, it's pronounced normal B. All right. The next sound is la lettre C. And of course, in a word, it takes the K sound, just like we know in English, such as in the word le cochon. Again, le cochon. Très bien. Next, la lettre D. And D in a word is pronounced D, as in English, such as in this word, la dent. Again, la dent. Good. And la dent, as you can see, is a tooth. Le cochon, which you saw above, is a pig. All right. Next letter is la lettre E, as we know. And in E, most of the times, the E itself is not pronounced, especially when it is at the last part of the word. But clearly, it is pronounced whenever it is in the middle of a word. Like right here, we have the E with the accent, which is quite different from the normal E. So, this E with the accent, by now you should know it's pronounced A. And this one here is what we pronounce U. But since it's in the last since it's the last letter of the word, we are clearly going to leave that last E silent. So this is how we pronounce the word. L'église. Again. L'église. Good. Next. F. F. And in F, when you pronounce it in a word, you normally get a F sound. So we have it in this word. Le feu. Again. Le feu. Very good. Le feu is fire. Next letter is la lettre G, as we know. La lettre G. And when we pronounce la lettre G in words, it actually still takes the J sound, but not J. It takes the J sound. And so we are going to pronounce it this way as la girafe. Remember, not like giraffe, because it will not take the G sound, it will take the J sound. So we say la girafe. La giraffe. I'm sure you must have noticed that's a giraffe. Very good. So I hope you're understanding. Are you? All right. In that case, let's move on to the next letter after la lettre G. And what's the next letter after la lettre G? Of course, it's la lettre H. You got it. So, normally, of course, letter H is pronounced H. But in virtually 98% of French words, the H is always silent. Just like in the word we're going to pronounce here, you will not get the H being pronounced. So, repeat after me. L'hippopotame. Again. L'hippopotame. Very good. L'hippopotame As you must have clearly noticed, it's a hippopotamus. All right. Next, l'insect, and the letter is E. When it is pronounced in a word, it normally still has that E sound. But since it is joined with N here, I-N, that is why the sound is different and is pronounced ung. Remember I said whenever you see UN and IN, they have the same sound. UN is IN is equally So that's why we get the word pronounced l'insect. L'insect. And that's an insect. Alright. Next letter, la lettre J. La lettre J. And in J, we have la jupe. La jupe. La jupe. Excellent. So la jupe, as you can see, is a skirt. And when we pronounce je, it is different from J. So again, that is the difference. All right, let's move on now to la lettre K. And in K, we're going to see the word le kangaroo. Sorry, let's take it again. Le kangourou, not kangaroo. Kangaroo is in English. In French, it is le kangourou. Again, le kangourou. So le kangourou is a kangaroo in English. And you can clearly get a K sound just as we know in English. All right, next letter is la lettre L. Of course, you know letter L. And in L, we have the L sound being pronounced when it is seen in a word. So we read this word as le lion. Le lion. Very good. And le lion is a lion. Excellent. You were quick in spotting that out. Let's move on to the next letter, which is obviously la lettre M. La lettre M. And it is obviously letter M, as you see right here. Now, letter M will be pronounced M in words, when it is, of course, written with other letters. And so, we get this word pronounced as, repeat after me, let's get it slowly. Le, ma, nye, to, scope. Again. Le, ma, nye, to, scope. Good. Le magnetoscope is a video recorder. And that's what we can see here. All right. And finally, the last letter we're going to see for today is la lettre N. La lettre N. And in N, we get an N sound when it is obviously written in a word. So we get this word pronounced as la nappe. La nappe. La nappe. Perfect. And of course, la nappe, as you can see here, is a tablecloth. So we hope you've learned a lot from today's lesson. Remember, some of these letters are not always pronounced the same way which they are pronounced as single letters from how they are pronounced in a word. Most of their pronunciations do change, and others, of course, remain exactly the same. Especially for those consonants, you get their pronunciations always changing. And the changes always applies to the English sounds as we read them in normal words. So in our next class, we are going to continue from la lettre O. But that will be after we meet up again this Sunday for our live lesson, where we shall together, once again, try to pronounce these words and clearly notice the differences in the pronunciations for each of the letters. And why not? Practice spelling of most of them. So this means this Sunday's lesson will quite be intense, but very, very easy. So there's no need to get scared. Let's just wait for Sunday to arrive. And remember, before Sunday, try to watch this video over and over so that by the time we meet for the live lesson, you would have no difficulty, yes, no difficulty pronouncing these letters. And of course, that will help you understand even more. All right. So that'll be it for today. I wish you a wonderful day ahead. We are today, Tuesday, of course, Tuesday the 6th of February, and we'll catch up on Sunday. That should be the 11th of February for our live lesson. For now, it's time to say au revoir et à bientôt. Bye bye.